We welcome you live to the season number 5 NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race at the Phoenix Raceway, and we are back from about a season away now. We're back from Phoenix Raceway, and it all comes down to tonight, race number 7 of season number 5 for the Cup Series, and we are ready to go here tonight from the desert, of course, in Phoenix, Arizona. And we are back here. Of course, we had a race here back in season 1. We took a year off, then we went back to season 3. We took another year off last season. Now we're back here at Phoenix in season number 5, and we could not be more excited for this one. The first ever Gen 4 race, of course, at Phoenix Raceway, and we are just about ready to go. Of course, going to be starting off with a half-hour warm-up session. As always, it's another week of NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series action, and the whole circus moves to Phoenix Raceway this week. Of course, you had the Grand National Series last night. What a race. What a chaotic one, of course. The insane finish that got Payson Lindsay. We'll talk about what happened to him after that one, post-race. That allowed Cole Clausen to slip on by for his first career. A huge Grand National Series win for him. Really elevated him in the points as well. Ethan McMillan, his teammate, retook the Grand National Series points lead, but of course that was all last night. Eyes are focused tonight from Phoenix Raceway. It's going to be, of course, hopefully a pretty fun one from Phoenix today. All right, so of course, welcome you live to the broadcast booth. I'm, of course, as always, your lead broadcaster and host, Ethan Trendler. Unfortunately, Eli Franklin will not be here. He got his best career finish last night in the Grand National Series race. So he was coming off huge momentum. Unfortunately, cannot join us tonight for the broadcast, but we'll most likely be back next week. Or actually, we don't have a race technically next week. We're off for real Daytona Speed Weeks, but after that in Rockingham. All right. We're going to have Landon Johnson, I believe Cole Clausen, if he stays, I don't really know if he is, for in-race reporting tonight. No other co-commentators, which is a little bit rare these days. Of course, unfortunately, Eli Franklin isn't able to make it, like I said. But we are just about ready to go for this warm-up session. Going to get going from Phoenix Raceway, Arizona, tonight. Of course, race number 7 already. It feels like that's a lot already this season for the Cup Series, but it's reality. Of course, got 2 laps qualifying. We'll be going over what the chase grid looks like entering this race here at Phoenix Raceway. We'll be going over some more things to know about this event here tonight from Phoenix, Arizona. All right. Well, here we go. In Phoenix, Arizona. You're watching live coverage of the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, and here we go. Cars are on the race. Well, we're just about to be on the racetrack if iRacing wants to cooperate for some minute. Cars on the racetrack here in Phoenix. Welcome live to Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, technically Avondale, Arizona. This is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series from the Phoenix Raceway. The cars are on the racetrack here in the desert. See that 42 back in a 3 and 4. You also got, there's the 94 of CJ Erdman. Third straight week he's running this Powerade machine. Of course, his first full time in the Cup Series season. He, of course, made the round of 8 last season in the or the round of 6, I should say, last season in the Grand National Series when they had the playoffs still. Of course, this season in the Cup Series, it hasn't been bad. It's coming off 3 straight 14th place finishes, which, I mean, the Cup Series is a lot harder than Grand National. So take that with a grain of salt. And he currently sits 15th in points. Here's the 30 of Sean Hillquist. He's kind of struggled this season after making the playoffs last year. Way out of the chase this year. Not looking so good. Here comes Cameron Chandler, your points leader, down the front straightaway. Down in a 1 and 2 in that 8 machine. Of course, Cameron still yet to win a race this season, but looking very solid. I think he's ran this Chipotle car already this year, but not exactly 100% sure. He's got Landon Johnson. Here we go down the back straightaway. The 82 of Aiden Donahue currently sits 6th in points. I mean, Aiden's had a, I don't know what to say. For him, for any other driver, it's been a decent year. It's a good year. For him, I don't want to say it's a bad year because it isn't by any stretch of the imagination, but it hasn't been the year he really maybe wanted. No wins. Kind of been finishing 6th, I feel like, every time I look up. Watch his way up the racetrack down into 1 and 2. Sean Hilquich back on his bumper. Let's look at your chase and overall point standings entering tonight here at Phoenix. Of course, you can see Cameron Chandler top of the chase standings right now. Sorry, I was a little messed up there at the top. Bryce Benton currently sits still second in points, coming off a 10th place finish last week, but still already 3 wins this season. Sean Rowe coming off his first career win last week at the Nashville Superspeedway. That was a huge one for him. Sits third in points. Braden Hunsaker, I mean, he's had a decent year, Braden. He's had really good speed. Probably could have won last week at Nashville, but ultimately the second half didn't go his way. Currently sits 4th, 5th. See Matthew White, Aiden Donahue, Lindsey Smith, Quayle, and John Butler, the final car inside of the playoffs. Davian Tobin right outside the playoff grid. Only about 9 points back. He'll be looking to have a good night to try to get back inside of the chase. You also see Ashton Miller. He's below the chase cut line. A couple other notable drivers as well. And now we got to talk about the usual driver, the number 99. But their hauler, of course, has left and gone back home to North Carolina. That, of course, is Payson Lindsay. In last night's Grand National Series race, Payson Lindsay making one of his starts in the Grand National Series, obviously full-time in the Cup Series, in his hometown. He got into a little bit of some scruffles late in the race. Coming to the white flag, he ended up absolutely dumping Jacob Malone, which caused about a 4-car crash at the white flag. That allowed Cole Clausen, of course, just clear on by for the win. And Payson Lindsay, officials did not take too nicely to that. He's had a lot of issues in his NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series career, so he was, of course, we've always got his eyes on him, officials do, from some of the past incidents that he's had. He was ultimately suspended for this race and at Rockingham in 2 weeks. So he will not be back for the next 2 NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series races. This is, I believe, his 3rd straight season with a suspension, and it is not looking good. He fell back to 8th in points because he also got a penalty, 10 points off, so he's back to 8th in the standings, and 2 races missed. He's probably going to be out of the chase easily. He's had a good year overall. Was sitting 7th in points before all this happened. Of course, above the chase cut line, but this is going to be really detrimental to him. Here's the 7 of Matthew White through 1 and 2. 1 win this season at Richmond, so I guess you could say a similar style racetrack if you look at it one way than to Phoenix Raceway tonight. Obviously not really the same or anything, but similar in a way. And hang on. PC's just not working right now. There we go. Apologize for that. All right. Now we're back live. Of course, about 21 minutes still to go. We're just getting started here in this warm-up session at Phoenix Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. We got Cameron Chandler, your points leader, spinning here. Got Andrew Stacy. He's had a good year. Currently still sits below the playoff chase cut line, though. Brandon Pfeiffer cannot say the same. He's had an absolute abysmal year. Probably the worst full-time driver. I don't want to say on speed because he hasn't been awful in there, but with luck and just incidents in the Cup Series this season, 6 races in, sits outside of the top 30 and just full-time driver points. Needs a good run tonight. Only top 20 came at Sonoma all season long. There is the 97 of Axel Smith. Moved back out of front of Payson Lindsay after his penalty, so he's looking good there. You got the 1 of Zane Herman. Actually, they Zane Herman, because the 99 will obviously not be on the racetrack tonight. Payson Lindsay's suspension. Zane Herman ended up picking up the Freeway.com sponsorship, which usually Payson Lindsay has. Apparently he has a bit of a message on the deck lid. Not exactly sure what it says, though. All right, here is the winner last week, the absolute star of the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League in the last week between lobbies, his win last night in the Grand National Series. Cole Clausen, what a just unbelievable performance he's had lately. Absolutely incredible. I mean, he has just been absolutely on fire, top of the world lately in this 71 machine for everything. Landon Johnson, you're on the racetrack right now in this 88 machine, making some laps around. You're unfortunately currently last of cars that have gone for times. What's been the feeling on the racetrack so far?
It's been really loose. Like the track is really hot. Cars sliding around a lot. Especially like the lower you go down.
Do you think it's going to be manageable throughout the rest of the race? Or throughout the entire race?
Yeah. I mean, we're just gonna have to move around. It's gonna be crashing loose. Going through the dog leg, like the transition, like you get a little loose too. So like we could see a wreck through there today.
That's going to be a tough spot, like it always is here at Phoenix Raceway. That dog leg. Around the outside goes the 82 of Aiden Donahue on 88 there, Landon Johnson. There's 8 of Cameron Chandler to the bumper of Johnson now as they head back into 1 and 2. Good racing going on here, though, between these guys. Of course, coming off Nashville last week, of course, like I said, Sean Rowe gets his first ever win in the Cup Series and currently now sits second in points. Had a really, really, really good year. Like we expected to him. Here's Davian Tobin, currently 10th on the board. Back into 1 and 2 he goes. Of course, what can drivers... Oh, big into-the-wall moment for Tobin. Just got tight. What can drivers do, drivers that are below the cut line do, I mean, to take advantage of what Payson Lindsay has happened to him this week, getting suspended? We'll see. Matthew White see a little bit loose. You got Brandon Pfeiffer just going to almost spin it down the back straightaway here. 77 to get to him there is Braden Hunsicker. And Braden's had a good year. He's, of course, the defending series champion in the Cup Series. He's had a good year overall. He's had a lot of speed, but never really able to capitalize on a race to win it. Probably had his best all-around race last week in Nashville. Finished second. Probably could have won the first stage if there wasn't any bad pit strategy. Probably could have won the race if it wasn't so hard to pass. And of course, this pit strategy wasn't pretty bad there at the end. Probably had one of the fastest cars in the racetrack, if not the fastest car. But I think Sean Rowe might have just been a little bit unbeatable at the end, though. Oh, we see Axel Smith riding the wall here in practice. It is allowed. No rules against that. Well, I mean, not in the race, I should say. I kind of worded that badly. It's allowed in practice, not in the race, for obvious reasons. Ethan McMillan down the front straightaway currently has the points lead in the Grand National Series. Of course, one of the Grand National regulars in this one tonight. Door slam the 96 of Andrew Stacy. And I'm hearing we may have a special guest that has, for some reason, decided he's not gonna go back to North Carolina just yet. Maybe joining the booth. Oh, as around goes the one of Zane Rahman into the wall. He'll spin. Alrighty. Just about halfway through this warm-up session, looking at the board so far. Looks like a lot of the usual suspects for the top 6 at least. You see Aiden Donahue goes top of the board. Sean Rowe is second. Bryce Benson, you see in third. Trent Wilkin, Matthew White, your top 5. They're all separated by less than a tenth of a second. You got points leader Cameron Chandler, currently 6th on the board. CJ Urban looks really good in 7th. Herklotz Butler, Havrilla, your top 10. Havrilla has been rallying off now 2 straight top 10 finishes after having an awful start to the year. Made the playoffs, of course, last 2 seasons in the Cup Series. So looking okay now. There's the 82 of Aiden Donahue. You got Sean Rowe, who got in the wall. Looks like he's got damage. Currently, of course, sits 3rd on the board. Donahue makes his way down the back straightaway. And he will now pull it off, it looks like. So Landon, has the track maybe changed a little bit throughout the session, or is it kind of just staying mostly the same?
I think it's changing. I haven't done a whole lot of laps lately. I've been trying to figure some stuff out.
Oh, we got a car spinning around. Goes Andrew Stacy in the middle of the track. They're going to kind of mess up some drivers' lines. It's the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. Around goes the 1 of Zaner Munn down the back. Here's the 14. That is Jacob Quayle in that machine. Real quick, we're going to take a little ride along with somebody. I don't know if we can actually find them. Let's ride along with Matthew White here. Maybe take a look and listen about what he's doing here in Phoenix. Pretty early on the break. He runs way high and through 3 and 4, probably just trying some sort of different strategy. Bryce Benton now goes top of the board. For some reason, this says D Benton, which is Bryce D Benton, but usually doesn't have his middle initial there. I'm not really sure why it's there, but okay, why not? White somewhat fighting a wheel, but it's going to be probably fun for these drivers up front, slipping and sliding around as the tires wear out, especially. So we do have an official announcement. Payson Lindsay is going to be joining the booth. Yeah, the Payson Lindsay that's suspended for this Matthew White goes top of the board here. For the Cup Series for the next 2 weeks. He will be joining our booth tonight, and he'll be a co-commentator alongside me. It'll happen about, once qualifying starts, we'll have him in. See the dog leg. Yeah, it kind of does get you loose, Landon. Definitely more so than the other cars. Do you feel that then more so than the, of course, the iCar and the Grand National car?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you can spin out down there so easy just with the transition. Like you got all this horsepower. And it's gonna be even worse like when tires burn off. So it's surprising like how many people actually go down there the whole road.
Oh my good lord! Horrible crash. Oh, the 50 of Connor. Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, it's still going on. They're still wrecking. Good lord. Oh my, they're not done. How are they not done? Good god. That was a wreck and a half. It's not done either. Oh my god. Oh, iRacing physics right there. Well, hopefully that wreck's over. That would be nice. Wow. All right then. That was certainly something. Just witnessed. Here's the 7 of Matthew White. For some reason, he's running way high. I assume it's not actually for a line. That wouldn't make any sense. Cameron Chandler has gone top of the board by half the second now. Or no, that's just half a tenth. Half a second. Yeah, what am I saying? Half a tenth. Here's the 42 of Aiden Holes to the front straightaway. Oh. Aiden Donahue goes around. Also good 7 of Matthew White. Oh, Axel Smith absolutely piles into Matthew White. Of course, 156 laps tonight. As there's the 9 of Bryce Benton. He's going to wreck. Goes top of the board. He was absolutely pushing there on that lap. And wrecks the car doing it at the end. So 156 laps. The halfway break is going to be at the end of lap 78. Of course, top 10 are awarded points. Of course, you also get bonus points as usual for winning the pole, leading the most laps, and getting 0x incident points. Anyone that does that. The pole is currently 27th on the board. 42. So the 65 of Davian Tobin, he just passed his teammate on the apron. The 30 of Sean Hillquich. Here's Zane Romano. And the 20 of Sean Rowe, your winner last week. First career win. Finally does it in Nashville. Look at the top 7 drivers, been probably the 7 best all season. They have, of course, they're separated by less than 0.2 of a second. Then you go back at just over 10, back to Tobin, 8th. So those top 7 look like they kind of, not in their own zip code, but they look like they have the advantage right now, at least. They're all really close. Of course, that's Bryce Benson, Cameron Chandler, Aiden Donahue, Matthew White, Trenton Wilkins, Sean Rowe, and Braden Hunsicker. Oh. But of course, just practice can't look too much on that, because we have things like this. Sean Rowe! Oh my goodness. Trenton Wilkin here, down the front straightaway. All right. Here's the 9 of Benson coming back on track. The 4 there of Carlos Ortiz as well. He's getting loose out on a 1 and 2, it looks like. Up the racetrack he goes. Race side by side here down the back. And the wall goes Ortiz, and now going to crash himself down the front straightaway. 7 minutes before qualifying starts here at the Phoenix Raceway. First 2 laps qualifying as always. Going to be an interesting session for quali. Track has kind of been ramping up too. We've seen a lot of drivers go top of the board, passing each other. It's kind of weird. I think we had that same thing at Nashville, but at Atlanta, we had the complete opposite. Put your fast lap down early, and then the track just kind of died. We'll see what Sean Rowe can do tonight. Around goes Cole Clausen down the front straightaway. And there's the 77 of Braden Hunsicker. Got the 4. Carlos Ortiz, who has really impressed this season so far. His outside. As Hunsicker there comes to pit. All right. It's about 6 minutes. Oh my God, Sean Rowe slams the wall. Oh my good Lord. Oh, I'm not really sure what I'm witnessing now. Oh, okay. All right then. All right then. Yeah, of course, end of practice gets a little bit messy sometimes. I don't know the messiest I've ever seen it, end of practice, at least all season. Christian Herbosch just blinked out. Fortunately, Christian had the points lead in Grand National coming into this week, but early race crash threw that away. A lot of cars there still sitting on pit road, as we were about 5 minutes to go before qualifying gets underway here at Phoenix. It's going to be interesting what happens here in qualifying. Here's the 97 of Axel Smith. I feel like now the track is kind of just died down again. We haven't seen anything ramp up. Smith currently sits 18th on the board. Really has kind of struggled with these kind of racetracks. course, he is a NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series rookie, but has raced like a veteran all year. Outside of maybe the last 2 weeks. Len, you're still stuck down 26th on the board. Like, are you not able to make any time? Like, what's kind of going on with your feeling in the race car?
Loose. About it.
Yeah, loose is definitely a characteristic of Phoenix.
I don't think I've ever ran a race here either, though.
Assuming you mean with the car?
Yeah.
And you gotta do that. Practice pit road was you're gonna. Right now it's pretty hot, but you're gonna have to do that if we stay green for a while here in this race. There will be green flag pit stops. You can't make it to the end of the race on, or to the stage on fuel, I should say. Same thing in the second half. So there's an opportunity of 2 green flag pit stops for your leaders here.
Number one thing you don't want to do, like some people did last night, speed.
Oh yeah, you saw that both Trent Wilkin and Cole Wilson were battling for the lead. They both sped and they were both trapped a lap down. Erdman looks pretty solid in 9th. I mean, you got the big 7 up front that have been just kind of the class of the field all season long. Tobin's been pretty good as well, but Erdman, how about P9? Oh my God, it's the worst voice crack of all time. Sorry about that. Yeah, P9 for CJ Erdman. He's a sandwich in between with Cole Clausen behind him. Of course, your winner last night. I mean, Cole Clausen hasn't been doing this on fluke either. He's had a lot of speed lately. He's been so impressive. See what he can do today. Aiden Donahue currently now sits 3rd on the board. See what kind of race the 82 of Showtime can have. There's Cole Clausen in the 71. About 2 minutes to go in this warm-up session here in Phoenix. Real quick again. All right. Oh, we got a car spinning around. Goes Cole Clausen ahead of Aiden Donahue. William Reagan getting pretty loose here. Of course, drivers are trying to find the edge of these race cars. I mean, they're not easy cars to drive at all. So, gotta find that edge. Sean Rowe gonna absolutely just go full throttle into the wall there. So will this 42 of Erklots. All right, though. Running down to the final minute here for the warm-up session in Phoenix. Also, qualifying is also important for your pit stall. If you get the pole, you get that #1 pit stall. You don't want to be somewhere like mid-pack, because then you're going to be a mix of all of it on pit road. Chandler on the racetrack in that 8 machine. Of course, Chipotle, like I said, on board this week. All right, clicking down to the final seconds here in the warm-up session. Oh, Chandler will now wreck 42 evaded holes. They go around with each other. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that'll do it here in the warm-up session. Oh my good Lord. Well, they're certainly putting on a show to you see the checkered flag. That will do it in this warm-up session. Here we go. It is time to qualify in Phoenix. Let's get this one underway. Of course, 2 laps of qualifying for the pole. It is race number 7 of the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series season, and it is at Phoenix Raceway. Here we go. Qualifying from the desert. Of course, desert is always hot. Track's going to be slick tonight, like it always is. And there's the 8-year points leader coming into the night. Cameron Chandler got about a 20-point lead over his teammate Bryce Benson. The chase cut line is the thing we're looking at today. Can John Butler hold on to his chase spot, and how far will Payson Lindsay fall down? Still, obviously, a ways to go before the regular season ends. Well, about 12 races now, including this one, but 13, I believe, actually, including this one. All right, qualifying underway. Down at a 1 and 2 goes that 30 of Sean Hillquich. The 1 of Zane Rahman. And the 8 of Cameron Chandler, of course, your points leader. The 12 of Trenton Wilkin. We'll see if lap 2 brings improvements for these drivers. It's just going to be 1 and done. You see Matthew White absolutely pushing the limits here. Got to do that. You're going to almost end up wrecking. You're going to be wrecking loose. Going how fast these guys are going here in qualifying. Here's Matthew White down at a 1 and 2. Chandler so far top of the board. Hillquich second. Matthew White down the back straightaway. Braden Hunsicker is third. Here's the 65 at Tobin. Through the dogleg and down the front stretch. And into 1 and 2. Aiden Donahue goes second. Matthew White is third. Hunsicker back to fourth. Here's Ashton Miller, who's only 15th in practice. He's only 9th on lap 1. Here's Hunsicker across the line again. I don't believe he improved. We had got a lot of lap 1s that are good here. Still, it's Chandler on provisional pole. Miller, it was 10th. Doesn't seem like he's getting any better from practice. That is not what he needs coming to this race. Here's the 96 Avenger Stacy. Miller enters this race below the chase cut line. Stacy backs it down to finish his lap. He is outside of the top 10. Zane Rahman is 9th. That's not a bad lap at all for him. Here's the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. That's the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. There's the 20 of Sean Rowe, and then his teammate Trenton Wilkin. Of course, Sean Rowe, your winner last week in Nashville. First win of the year, and first career win as well. Up the outside, he goes down to the 3 and 4 to probably come to start his lap. And same thing with the 12, and around goes Trenton Wilkin across the line. I don't believe he got a lap time down. That's going to be detrimental for him. He was absolutely pushing that race car, and he started his lap. I don't know what's going to happen now with Wilkin. Here's Braden Hunsicker. Rolling slowly in 4th currently. About 2 minutes to go here. There's the 9 of Bryce Benson. Down the back stretch. Of course, he always kind of runs late here. Looking for the 20 of Sean Rowe. He is now making times. Only 21st in lap 1, but that's probably a throwaway lap for him. Down on a 1 and 2 goes your winner last week. Similar style of racetrack, if you think about it. Bryce Benson second on lap 1. Team Chevy Motor Club 1-2 currently. John Butler is 6th. Great lap for him so far. Here's Rowe back into 3 and 4. Across the line, Cole Clausen goes 5th. Splits the Highline Motorsports machines. And Sean Rowe goes top of the board for your winner last week in Nashville. He's on provisional pole. How about that? Trent Wilkin, I do believe, got a lap, I think. Or I don't know. I don't think he did get a lap. Wow. And Bryce Benson, I'm not exactly sure what's happening with him. Hunsicker is already done. Only 58 seconds to go here, I believe. So I believe that might just about do it. Of course, Braden Hunsicker is done. Trent Wilkin is not going to get a lap off here. That is absolutely detrimental. And it looks like Sean Rowe, after winning last week in Nashville, he is going to be on pole from the desert in Phoenix. As, of course, making the long walk up to the broadcast booth. Thought he was going to be on the racetrack tonight. Of course, he is not. Payson Lindsay, welcome to the booth. Pretty interesting night for you guys last night, but now you get to be in the booth and watching your, I guess, your Cup Series colleagues on the racetrack today for the next 2 weeks.
Hey, yep.
All right, Payson, well, of course, you're a driver yourself. You've driven this Gen 4 car all season long. But what do we expect here tonight in Phoenix early on in this race, do you think, with now Sean Rowe in pole position? He's speechless. Okay.
It's the ETR car, bro.
Sean Rowe
Up.
on pole at the Phoenix Raceway as we welcome you live to Phoenix, Arizona. This is the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series from Phoenix Raceway. Here we go. 156 laps tonight, and let's look at your starting order for at least the top 10. Sean Rowe on pole. Great lap. He goes top of the board and wins the pole position here, coming off a win. His first ever win last week at Nashville. To his outside will be the year points leader. Top 2 in points, but just inverted. Cameron Chandler starts second. Bryce Benson, 3 wins already this season, will start third. Aiden Donahue would love a win tonight. He's going to start fifth. Matthew White, all-time wins leader in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, starts sixth. Your winner, or fifth, your winner last night in Grand National here at Phoenix Raceway, Cole Clausen, will start in sixth. Braden Hunsinger, defending series champion, starts seventh. John Butler, he's been really on fire as of late. Similar style racetrack to Nashville, where he is so good at. Last week, he starts eighth. Andrew Stacy, very good effort for him in starting ninth. How about Ethan McMillan starting here in P10? A really good lap time by that 70 machine. Look outside the top 10. Notable driver is Ashton Miller starting 16th tonight. He needs better points than 16th if he wants to get closer to the playoff, to the Chase Cut line, I mean. Well, here we go. From Nashville. Oh, I can't believe I just said that.
Phoenix?
From Phoenix Raceway. Here tonight, 156 laps, halfway break at the end of lap 78. Car's just about to roll off here. I did it already. Sorry about that. Back to live here, and car's rolling off the grid. All right, we'll just come down pit road speed check here, as usual. Well, it's race number 7 of the Cup Series season here at Phoenix Raceway. What are we going to see? Will we see maybe, I don't think we would see something, unless something detrimental happens to Cameron Chandler tonight. I wouldn't expect to see a change at the top of the point standings, but that could certainly get closer. And of course, the chase is what we're looking at the most right now. Even though there still is well over 10 races to go, 12 to be exact, before the chase, including this one. Cars come down pit road speed check here, and of course checking their pit boxes as well. They will need this little check because we would expect green flag pit stops today. We don't have any abundance of cautions mixed throughout the race. Can't make the end of the stage on fuel. That's of course applies to the second half, so you would have 2 technically scheduled green flag pit stops if there weren't a ton of cautions in this race, for example. All right, so they come to 1 to go to the green flag. Choose cone, of course, on the restart. It's going to be down the front straightaway as usual. With Sean Rowe on pole position here. Top 2, probably the top 2 fastest drivers. Maybe the top 2 early for the championship so far this season. Sean Rowe and Cameron Chandler. We're in the desert. We are back at Phoenix Raceway, and we're so excited to be here yet again. Finally, after 2 seasons of waiting, the pace car makes that hard left turn down to pit road. Race number 7 in the Cup Series season. It's an on racetrack, but it's back from Phoenix, Arizona. Sean Rowe, your winner last week at Nashville. To the outside of the points leader of the Cup Series so far this year, Cameron Chandler. They will address the starter stands. Race 7 in the Cup Series season, and Season 5 is green and underway from the desert. We're racing in Phoenix.
They already right.
Oh, are you kidding me? What are they doing? Unbelievable.
Brandon Piper just said his car is in neutral.
That is, he did it again, Brandon Piper. That's the 2nd time this season he's wrecked in the initial start of the race and caused immediate caution. I want to ride along with him to see what happens. I'm not really sure what happened to his car. Well, that's unfortunate. And he's already DNF'd out of this race.
That's got to be a record.
That's, yeah, he is just having one of the worst Cup Series seasons I think I've ever seen. Well, that's unfortunate for Pfeiffer. Probably shouldn't have been a caution if you think about it. Well, we're under caution already here in Phoenix because Pfeiffer, for some reason, couldn't get the car in gear to start the race. On lap 3 now.
This is going to get us a little closer to our fuel window. We're only about 7 laps off our fuel, like, to make it to the stage.
That's interesting. So, of course, there isn't. I mean, you could technically fuel save here, but of course, this caution makes it a little bit interesting. We don't expect anyone to pit. You got 4 sets of tires waiting for you in the pits. Brandon Pfeiffer's probably had the worst Cup Series season I've ever seen. As we're going to come to the choose this time by for the first time tonight. You'll see it in action. Sean Roy goes bottom, Cameron Chandler goes top. You're going to see bottom, top, bottom, bottom. The Highline cars go with each other. Top, top for Clausen and Butler. Choose on back behind them. All right, well, first caution already out because Pfeiffer somehow didn't get his, for some reason, couldn't get the car in gear. We're going to see ready for this restart, going to be on lap 5 here at Phoenix Raceway. The season has had a lot of cautions that probably shouldn't have been cautions, and that's one of them, fortunately. We're ready to see what we get on this restart here at the Phoenix Raceway. No change in the front of the field in that initial start as they will come back to the green flag. Racing once again, a great restart for that 20 of Sean Rowe. He's absolutely gone as they all, of course, very famous dog leg they cut here at the Phoenix Raceway. And we are underway officially here in Phoenix. Heading back at a 1 and 2 they go. You got the 8 of Chandler to the inside is his teammate, that 9 car, Bryce Benson. First opening time under speed down the back straightaway they go. Oh my goodness, Bryce Benson is crashing into the wall hard, and Aiden Donahue is destroyed as well. What just happened? Are you kidding me? What was that? Oh my goodness. I'm not really sure. Aiden just, I don't know if he misjudged that, turns around Bryce Benson, and Ethan McMillan comes in and absolutely destroys the 82 of Aiden Donahue. Oh my goodness. That is some of the 2 best drivers in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. I got to get a better angle at that. I can't believe it. What on earth was that? So Aiden Donahue to the outside there of Matthew White. Gets a run down the back straightaway. I mean, it looks like they're just all in line, and I don't know. He just misjudged it. I don't really know. And then McMillan comes in and absolutely hammers. He is an unfortunate situation there. Hammers the 9 of Bryce Benson. What on earth was that? Let's ride along with Bryce here. I gotta listen to his engine. I'm not really sure. Aiden Donahue, you don't see that kind of mistake. I gotta see real quick a look. Bryce broke a little bit earlier than Cameron Chandler ahead of it, but not anything that should have been warranting that. I don't really know.
That's what Aiden was saying. He was not prepared for him to break that early.
Right along with Benson. I mean, yeah, he's on the gas a little early, but I don't know if it really, I don't know, man. That's really, really strange. That is something you don't see between drivers like Aiden Donahue and Bryce Benson. So unfortunate for those 2. And that is huge in the points as well. I mean, this is detrimental for Bryce Benson. Came into this race 3rd in points. Doesn't want to lose that advantage he has after his 3 wins already this season. And this is going to be, this is not a good start for him tonight. Only on lap 7 here in Phoenix. This has been a chaotic start to the race. Of course, Pfeiffer couldn't get to 2 wacky and wild incidents to start off here. Of course, Brandon Pfeiffer couldn't get the car in gear and crashes for, I believe, the 3rd time on the initial start of the race this season, which is not good. And then that. We're coming to the choose here. Those are 2 huge contenders in this race that I don't think they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to be out or not, but definitely not going to make it any easier for those two. They both have damage. And Nathan Donahue's rolling back on the racetrack, but Bryce Benton is still sitting in the pits. And he's got big front end damage, missing the entire nose. Same thing with Ethan McMillan, but Bryce is now rolling back on the racetrack. He's going to be a lap down now.
I feel like we're racing a Bowman Gray.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because it's just all of a sudden these two insane incidents.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's straight chaos.
Well, I mean, Bowman Gray is just stupid with last night's. This is just two incidents you didn't see coming. Here we go, Sean Rowe and Cameron Chandler on the front row. For the restart, let's see if we can get something not odd happening on this restart. My God. Oh God, they stacked up a little bit on the outside lane. Of course, Cameron kind of jumped a little bit early, couldn't do that. As they come to the restart here, Matthew White to the inside of Chandler for a second as they head back into 1 and 2. Braden Hunsinger, Matthews' teammate on the bottom as well. Hunsinger almost trying to make it 3 wide as they head down the back straightaway. He stays in line. Donahue back on the racetrack, so is Benton. They're both back there. Sorry about that. Both back there kind of running about last as Sean Rowe finally comes to complete a lap under green. Oh, good Lord. We can't find the right camera button. Sorry about that. Camera is a little bit broken. Action going on behind them. You see the 1 of Zane Herman. He's up the racetrack. The 10 of Brian Kilbastian. 65 of Davy and Tobin back there in 11th. Really, really chaotic start to this race. But Sean Rowe leads back into 3 and 4 over Cameron Chandler, Matthew White, Braden Hunsinger, and Cole Clausen. Winner last night in Grand National here at Phoenix. Currently runs 5th. Here's Andrew Stacy battling in the 09 of John Butler. You got Connor Havrilla there in the 50 as well to the inside. So, I mean, Landon, what is the fuel window looking like now with 11 laps in?
About 62 laps.
You're about 5 laps short, so you're going to have a caution in this first half to end it. We'd probably still have to pit, be close, and the tires would be another factor. You can't forget about that. Cars are going to be loose all night tonight. Tires would be much needed for these drivers. But here we go, battle for the lead.
We're wrecking again.
Oh my
wrecking again. Big 4 or 5 cars.
Of course they are. Unbelievable. Let's see what happens.
I mean, you said the word. You said the word caution, and they wrecked.
Tobin just ran into the back of the 60. And I don't get it with this Gen 4 car. I don't understand why the cars lift up like that. There's been so many unnecessary incidents caused by that. It's pretty annoying. It's right along with Tobin.
He used to do that back in the day too, though.
It shouldn't be a thing. It's stupid. I mean, this is barely a tap. Look at that. And then gone. Causes this massive crash. Well, that's so unfortunate. Another caution. It's been the story of the season. Every single race. You've got cars on pit road. Led by the 1 of Ramon. You got a little front end damage. You got that 82 car, Baden Donahue, the 94 of CJ Urban, the 10 of Ryan Kilbastian. All right. Payson Lindsay is now back in the broadcast booth. 14 laps in. This has been, I don't even know what to call this race at this point. 3 insane incidents that could have been avoided, but on the caution again. Here on lap 14. There's a lot of cars there on pit road trying to do something before the pace car comes back out. We're going to come with the shoes this time by.
Like Donahue almost has a little bit of
Aiden Donahue, of course, involved in that insane crash with Bryce Benton, who just misjudged the braking zone. Donahue did and ended up spinning the 9, causing those two to both crash. choose here.
A lot of cars just in the bottom.
It definitely is the best lane in the restarts here. Man, this has been unfortunate so far in this race. Not what we wanted to see. Driver's trying to roll out. There's the 9 of Bright Spencer, of course, missing his front end. Of course, recap Vincent so far tonight. Braden Pfeiffer couldn't get the car in gear to spin out immediately for the second time in 3 weeks on before the green flag even drops for him at least. And of course, he had that crazy crash between Donahue and Bryce Benson, where they just Donahue misjudged Benson's braking points, turned him around. And of course, Dabbing and Tobin barely gets to the back of Aiden Holes. Of course, with the characteristics of the Gen 4 car, immediately spun him around and run caution again. But we're ready for the restart. Back underway on lap 16. The dog leg, you also need to be careful of these on these restarts. As usual, Sean Rowe gets away nicely into second as that 8 car of Cameron Chandler side by side between Highline Motorsports teammates Matthew White and Braden Hunsicker for third. As they race their way down the back straightaway. Sean Hilco's trying to get in the line there in that 30 machine. The 96 there of Andrew Stacy, the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. And Ashton Miller, who's nearly inside of the top 10 after having an abysmal both practice and qualifying.
Had to take a peek at this out there.
And they're battling, starting to battle for the lead up front, but they're 3 wide. Back into 1 and 2, you see Trenton Wilkin in that 12 car up the racetrack. You got the 30 of Hilquich back there, and then looking for the lead. Here is Cameron Chandler starting to pressure the 20 of Sean Rowe. Chandler looks inside. He is there. Was doing this before the caution came out last time. He's all the way on the apron through 1 and 2. Battle for the lead here in Phoenix. But Rowe carries that momentum around the outside to re-clear that 8 car of Cameron Chandler. Of course, these two have been so good all season with battling each other. You got Matthew White back there in third. On the 77 Hunsicker in fourth. Cole Clausen, though, still runs fit. That speed is legitimate on that 71 machine. All throughout the rest of these few weeks he's had in a row.
Yeah, Clausen's had a ton of good runs here, especially in FNL. See what he can do.
Coming off a huge first ever Grand National win last night here at the Desert. Seems very, very locked into the racetrack this week. Battle of a lead. Here we go to the inside. Goes Cameron Chandler. Back into 3 and 4 on Sean Rowe. Chandler would love to get his first win of the season today. Been a long time coming for this year. It's really close a couple of times. Things just haven't really gone his way so far. But he's to the inside through 1 and 2. But early on in the race, you're not sure how hard you want to race with a driver like this. You're going to be racing for the championship all season. Stays behind Rowe for now as they head down the back straightaway. Also, you don't want to wear your tires too early in this one. Chandler now once again pressuring Rowe for the lead, but early now all of a sudden looks like maybe looking to stay in behind, but he runs the outside through 1 and 2. Matthew White's still back there in third. You can see what kind of momentum he's going to get down this back straightaway. Top does give you a good momentum boost back into 1 and 2 and down the back. We've seen that all week long. Here we go to the inside. Trenton Wilkin on Connor Haverilla for 9th. Haverilla's coming off back-to-back 10th place finishes. Running in the top 10 yet again. He has all of a sudden come on so strong in this season. And here we go. Chandler to the inside of Rowe. Back into 1 and 2 for the lead. Almost a little bit of contact. He gets ever so slightly tight, it looks like. Has to back out of it.
These two battling is bringing Matthew White back into it.
We just had smoke out all of a sudden. I believe it was for the 42 of Aiden Holtz. Not really sure what happened to him. Oh my God. Apologize for this. DC is not cooperating right now. As once again they head down the back straightaway.
We got Cole Clausen trying to close on Braden Hunsicker there for 4th. They're kind of struggling this one. He's losing the top 3 a little bit. See what Clausen can do. He's going over 1 and 2.
Yeah, Clausen back there running with Hunsicker. Battle for P4. John Butler having a solid day in P6 right now. The Ashton Miller to the inside of, oh, contact with Sean Hillquist down the back straightaway. Nearly got together here as Ibarella starts to fall outside of the top 10 battle here for 9th between Miller and Hillquist. Through the dogleg they go. Updated Aiden Donahue, who currently runs 18th. Doesn't have too much damage anymore, it looks like, at least from the cosmetic. But there'll be a long road ahead for that 82 machine. Oh! Somebody's blinking. That's not what we want to see. That's Christian Herklotz. Couple cars nearly went around, though, as they head through the dogleg again. Herklotz having an absolute blinking fest up front for the lead, though. Cameron Chandler on the inside of Sean Rowe. Well, he does that again. He drives it his way deep into 1 and 2. Can't just complete the corner and has to fall back in the line once more. But he's back to the inside through 3 and 4, but gets tight. Yet again, trying to chase that race car up the racetrack, but they're going to be side by side. Here through the dogleg, battle for the lead. Cameron Chandler all the way down low. Rough part of that dogleg. Driving super deep. Look at how deep he goes down into 1 and 2. Gonna completely slide up the racetrack. Crossover back to the inside for Sean Rowe, who easily reclears him for the lead. My goodness, really aggressive there by that 8 car of Cameron Chandler. Chandler goes high through 3 and 4. He's got a run coming once again down the front straightaway. Here is that 8 car of Chandler. And the caution's out. Oh my God, what on earth? What are they doing? I don't understand. And I knew they were going to wreck. I saw it back there. Sean Hillquist. Let's see what happens.
Could have had something to do with Herklotz blinking.
Herklotz to the inside. I don't even know what to think about that one. What was that? Physics just broke themselves, I guess?
It just looks like really, really weird netcode.
Yeah, I don't really understand what that was. Some sort of netcode. That was terrible. Caution's out now on lap 29 for the 4th time today. All right, well, you know, I got cars on pit road here. Every leader's probably going to pit. So all your leaders going to bring their cars down to pit road. Here they come. Because for some reason we can't keep it straight in the Cup Series. So bad pit entry there for the 8 of Cameron Chandler. For some reason they can't keep it straight lately in the Cup Series. We've had these kind of incidents where we haven't had too many green flag pit stops unless it was last week in Nashville. For fresh Goodyear tires for it looks like everyone off pit road first will be Sean Rowe. Cameron Chandler's going to lose 4, maybe 5 spots back here. Back to 5th he goes. Really unfortunate for the 8. Shoes, of course, this time by. See Erdman, I don't know why he's being put there. Is he going to go to the inside? Yes, he will. See Hunsaker goes outside. His teammate Matthew White, this time will go low. More cars still sitting in the pits. You got the milling machine has been there for a while. More cars now rolling off the pits. All right, well, they pitted for the first time today.
Really good spot from Braden, I believe. He gained 2 spots on pit road, 1 from Cameron and 1 from 7 of Matthew White.
Well, here we go. Ready for the restart again. Going to be on lap 32. Can we get a long run in, please?
Get your hopes up, Beaver.
Yeah, well, if iRacing just would, you know, fix their issues, that'd be nice. But come back to the restart zone again. Sean Rowe on the jump with the 77 of Braden Hunsicker to his outsides. We're back underway here in Phoenix. Battle of the lead as they head back into 1 and 2 between Rowe. He's going to slide up the racetrack in front of that 77 car. Takes his line away. You got Matthew White back there in third. As they head down the back straightaway once again. There's Clausen in fourth side by side. Trenton Wilkin down to the inside of the 09. His affiliated teammate John Butler. Cameron Chandler, bad restart. Back to 7th. Butler going to go 3 wide down the front straightaway. Started 5th on the restart. Fell back 2 spots. Not been a good sequence of few laps for Chandler. Oh, he gets loose back into 3 and 4. He's got Ashton Miller now starting to challenge him. Here we go. Battle for the lead still heating up between Braden Hunsicker and Sean Rowe. Sean Rowe still riding that huge momentum off this Nashville win last week. A little bit further back, we got the 97 of Axel Smith to the inside of Jacob Quayle for 12th. Of course, everyone on fresh tires. So Chandler is still back here in 7th. Not really making up too much progress. Ooh, Cole Clausen, but the 09 of John Butler up the racetrack, he got a little bit tight. Had to back out of the gas. And here we go, side by side between Wilkin and Butler again for 5th. John Butler somebody had a big blink. I believe it was, of course, John Butler. Cavarella just got completely loose. I thought he was dart tracking down the back straightaway for a minute. He's going to fall back here to the inside of the 14 of Jacob Quayle he goes. For some reason, the car is kind of, the fender of the car is kind of like smushes in with the tire when they hit the dog leg there. It's kind of funny. They got a battle for 4th. Cole Clausen having his best Cup Series run, excluding his win at Fontana so far this season. He's been so good lately in the league. Final look now. Here comes Braden Hunsicker to the outside of Sean Rowe. Here they go, side by side down the front straightaway for the lead. And back at a 1 and 2. Hunsicker's got that outside lane. Can Rowe drive it deep enough to clear him up outside? And he is actually going to do that. Like I said.
Crossover here from Braden.
Yeah, back to the inside goes that 77 on Sean Rowe. Oh, contact! Your defending series champion gets into your defending race winner here in the Cup Series. Braden backs out of it. Probably to say I'm sorry, but now he's got Matthew White on his bumper. Maybe not the best decision. Here goes White to the outside to clear for 2nd. Look at Cameron Chandler down low, driving it in all the way on the apron. My goodness. 2nd time he's done that tonight already. Now Matthew White is 2nd. He's blinking a little bit. That's why it kind of confused me for a second. Here he goes. Now he's going to try to challenge Sean Rowe. 3rd drivers that's going to be doing this tonight. The last 2 have failed, both Cameron Chandler and Braden Hunsicker to take the lead from this 20 car. Here's Chandler to the inside of John Butler here for 6th. Back in line up front, though. Here goes Matthew White to the inside of Sean Rowe. He's there to his door. As they head back into 1 and 2, he's going to have to slide back in line, it looks like, for now. But he's there again, back into 3 and 4 for that 7 car. Nobody's been able to pass this 20 yet tonight, or at least get clear. But here comes the 7 of Matthew White, looking to choose just that. Rowe squeezes him down there. But White fights back on the bottom. Rowe, though, again clears him on the outside lane. I mean, pace on the outside through 3 and 4 has been so good all week long.
Kind of shocking. Usually the top between four is the preferred line, but it seems like you can really just kind of pinch a guy down there.
I believe Matthew White got in the inside wall a little bit. 3 and 4, which is easy to do. He runs so close to it. Doesn't look like he affects him too much. Kind of brings Braden Hunsaker back into this battle. Three-way battle now for the lead.
Sean. And right here, he has a good run right here down the backstretch. Looks like he's going to take a peek at it.
Yeah, there he is to the inside. That's the wall he just hit earlier. He misses it this time. Leaders once again roll down this front straightaway. Lap 43 at Phoenix Raceway. Hunsaker still in third. You see maybe now a 6-car kind of pack up front. Here is Cameron Chandler on the bumper of the 12 of Trent Wilkin, who also moves to the inside of the 71 of Cole Clausen. But now Wilkin's going to have Cameron to his outside. Cameron Chandler going to try to make a bit of a crossover. Cameron Chandler getting very, very old, so his retirement may be coming pretty soon. There's the 12 of Wilkin as well, trying to get his way to the inside. That's Chandler, though, to the outside of Wilkin for the final spot inside of the top 5. Up front. Well, they're about to start battling. Not yet. Side by side between Chandler and Wilkins. They head to the dogleg. Battle here for 5th. In the wall a little bit goes that 8-car of Cameron Chandler. Gotta be careful here. You don't want to be damaging up your stuff too badly. Chandler, they're still trying to get around this 12-car Wilkin. Finally has momentum and will clear Trent Wilkin to 5th. He goes. Now up front we see Matthew White trying to challenge the 20 of Sean Rowe. He goes high through 1 and 2. Trying to find a bit of a long way around. He's there. Oh, he's going to nearly get in the wall, though. Side by side down the back straightaway. Braden Hunsaker tries to drive it deep on his teammate. Backs out of it.
Matthew to the inside for the lead again on Sean Rowe.
Yeah, trying to make a bit of a crossover again. Still, nobody's been able to pass that 20 car. But Matthew White is back to his inside. Almost leaning on each other through 1 and 2. White to the quarter panel. Gets a little bit loose and asks back out of it. Gets back in line again. Remember, he's got his teammate in 3rd, so going to be a little bit more lenient. Here's Cameron Chandler to the inside of Cole Clausen for 4th. Top 3 nose to tail. Chandler all the way down there on the dog leg. That's the apron all the way on the low side. Look on the 77 of Braden Hunsaker. Almost there on the 7 of Matthew White. If White could just get to the outside of Rowe off the exit, just almost like he did there, but almost got in the wall a little bit. Gotta be careful. He could have a shot at doing that if he gets to the outside and actually rolls momentum nicely. Here's the 7. Looking to the inside. Still, ever so, he's definitely faster than Rowe. Just still can't find that way around him. Also, you got Cameron Chandler back to the inside of Cole Clausen. Looks like he just might clear him for 4th. Clausen, though, fighting back on the outside lane. But now Cameron's clearing to P4. Now Matthew White again back to the inside of that 20 car of Sean Rowe.
I don't think he's going to be able to make that move on the inside. I think he's got to get to his outside off the 2, or even just try and cross him over in the dogleg. See what he can do there. But don't think he's going to get it on the inside.
It's definitely been pretty tough to pass here at Phoenix. The Cup Series looks like maybe no exception. 50 laps complete here at Phoenix Raceway.
Sean Rowe. That higher line and 1 and 2. See if he can get there on the outside. He's there.
Yeah, he might get there, but Rowe, again, this happened a few laps ago. Rowe's going to be able to re-clear him. But Matthew White's going to have a bit of momentum to the bottom. He's there side by side with the 20. But can he make it stick back on the inside to 3 and 4? No, Rowe makes an impressive move to re-clear him. About 18 laps to go, or sorry, 28 laps to go to the halfway break. Matthew White back to the inside of the 20 of Sean Rowe. He's going to be to his door. They're going to be side by side. They lean on each other a little bit. Can White keep it to his inside this time? He will. Side by side down the back. White on the bottom of Sean Rowe, trying to take the lead for the first time today. Nobody has led a lap so far besides Sean Rowe. This time it was close, but still Rowe had it. White going to trying to keep it on his inside through 1 and 2 again. He is there, but he might just slide up here back in the line if things don't go well for him. Rowe gets that momentum, and Matthew gets loose a little bit. Chandler's starting to get into the battle for third. Here he is to the inside of Hunsicker. In the wall a little bit goes the 77 car. Chandler driving his way back through this field here. Hunsicker gets around him again. Stays P3. White trying to get some more momentum around that outside lane. That 20 car has been so strong holding the lead, but definitely has faster cars behind him. White again to the inside through 3 and 4. I mean, it's been the same look all week long. We saw it, especially in the iCar Pro Series. We saw it in Grand National last night, now in the Cup Series. It just seems like you can get there to the inside of the leader. It's just very hard to pass. Payson, is that what you kind of felt all week long?
Yeah, especially in the iCar race more so than the Xfinity car. Just really couldn't make the pass on the inside because you could just get pinched down really, really hard and you were just unable to make any passes there on the inside. But if you could get the momentum on the top and try and cross the motor over entering 3 and 4, there was a possibility that you could make the pass. So I think if Matthew could just be side by side entering 3 and 4, he could definitely try and make that pass. White
is blinking. Sorry about that. He's very blinky now. This is going to be really interesting. To the inside he goes for the lead. On Sean Rowe, yet again, he's blinking. This is a very bad time to blink. Probably some of the worst you can get. Oh, God. Can't really see where he is. There he is.
There.
Now he gets cleared again.
I don't know if he has as much life on his tires as Sean Rowe right now. Sean Rowe's definitely able to gas it up, I think, just a little bit sooner than Matthew.
I mean, remember, Matthew's been absolutely pushing, trying to get in this 20 car. It almost seems like Sean is kind of doing the opposite. We look at some lap cars, Aiden Poles in the 42, the 94 of CJ Erdman. They are actually starting to catch some lap traffic. There's the 9 of Bryce Benson, of course, as well, most notably. Here's Trent Wilkins side by side with Cole Clausen. Also got John Butler to the outside. Ashton Miller back there in 8th.
Clausen definitely starting to fall off just a little bit as the fun goes on. Still running solidly in the top 5, but he was up there just a little bit further a couple laps ago.
We got Trent Wilkins to his bumper to the inside now. These two, of course, battled last night in Grand National. Had a good race. Unfortunately, Wilkins ended up speeding on pit road. Kind of took him out of the battle for the win. Here we go. Sean Rowe looking to lap CJ Erdman. Erdman is off the pace after being top 10 in practice, which is very unfortunate now to see. For that 94 car. Coming off 3 top 14 finishes in a row for CJ Erdman, so definitely not where he wants to be outside of the top 20. Now a lap down.
From what I heard, he was very optimistic entering this race. Had a lot of practice. He was hoping to get a top 10 here, but it looks like without a couple cautions, that's probably not going to be the case here.
Also going to catch the lap car of the 42 of Aiden Poles. The wall a little bit goes Sean Rowe.
Two car just with a little bit of luck damage. I don't think he's going to be as slow for these leaders to see zero than we'll continue what he does.
There's still 18 to go to the halfway break as Rowe going to move to the inside of the lap car through 1 and 2. This top 10 will get stage points. Ashton Miller, I talked about him earlier, up to 8th from starting in 16th, so 8 spots gained on where he started. So I know it's not that great if you look at it on paper, but slow steps here for Ashton Miller trying to get back inside of the Chase cut line. He hasn't been inside of the Chase all season long. Was made the Cup Series playoffs last 3 seasons and won a race last season in Texas. And also won his stool this year at Daytona.
Speaking of slow steps, we have Trent Wilkins. I believe he started outside the top 20. He's already up to P6, putting some more pressure here on Cole Clausen. He he can get here entering the dogleg if he has a good 3 and 4. He's been getting a little bit close to every lap.
Yeah, Trenton's been very fast this season, but still outside of the chase. Here he is to the quarter panel, though, of Cole Clausen. John Butler has another big blink. Ashton Miller on his bumper. Here's that 12 on the low side through 1 and 2. Almost Cole Clausen nearly got on the wall a little bit after the lead just step out of the gas, ever so slightly. Tires are definitely getting hot. These cars starting to be slipping and slidey for these drivers. Wilkin looking to clear Cole Clausen. He will. John Butler all the way down, cutting the dog leg on the low side.
A battle for P3. Cameron trying to pass up right here. He's probably going to try and go for the crossover out of 2.
Also,
Cameron's definitely been a lot faster than these leaders.
Yeah, Cameron Chandler probably, he qualified second, and he's trying to drove his way back up to the field after having to fall back to 7th on that restart earlier. Here we go, battle for 3rd, like you said, Payson. Just been really hard to pass, especially for the lead and when to get more towards the front of the field. Get a lot of passes. Oh, Clausen in the wall hard. That is a big shot at 71 car. He washed way up the racetrack through 1 and 2, and now he's got some damage. He's had a great run, but it's now back to 8.
Right front damage.
Here's Chandler to the outside of the 77. And they're starting to come to the damaged car of Bryce Benson to lap him, maybe. Still trying to manage with that front end damage. Would want to stay first car a lap down. He would get the free pass. Of course, here we go. Chandler to the inside of the 77 Hunsicker here for 3rd. Bryce wants to try to get around William Reagan, who's multiple laps down anyways, I believe. Reagan currently, well, actually, it's just 1 lap down, but he will now be multiple laps down. Bryce gets out of the way. Probably a good idea for him. Just wants to try to stay up as the wave around car. Looking at Landon Johnson. He's there. They are coming to now 10 to go, or 11 to go to the halfway break. They may catch Johnson, which Bryce Benson does not want to see, obviously.
John Rowe's been about almost a second faster than Landon Johnson every lap. I think he will get to them before the end of the stage, and that will put Bryce Benson out of the monkey dog position.
Coming to 10 to go now in the stage this time by. John Rowe looking for 2 stage wins in a row. If he does this, he would be absolutely racking up the chase points. It would be, now even with just this stage win, if he's able to hold on for it, 7 in the last 2 races, including his stage win last week at Nashville, and of course now it would be a stage win here at Phoenix. In Nashville, Phoenix, there are some characteristics, those 2 racetracks that are I guess, a little bit similar. Richmond, I would say, is the most comparable racetrack, even though there's nothing really too comparable to Phoenix. Caution. Well, that's for what? For what? Why is the caution out? iRacing. Oh, Hillercross just loses it. Hits the wall hard. That did not need to be a caution at all. Another iRacing god-awful call at caution, so good job, guys. Well, this changes everything now for the stage. We're going to have a restart for the stage. And who do we see pit? That's another question here. They last pitted about like almost 45 laps ago. It's the last caution. Here they come. Braden Hunsicker stays out. Oh, we got a mixed bag now. Look at this. Only not a lot of cars pitting. Only about
Looks like it's about 50-50 here.
I think it's less than 50-50. More stayed out than pitted, at least up front. A lot more coming in the back, though.
Most of the guys in the back.
I think guys that are now lapped down, this actually gives them a great opportunity to maybe take the wave around here. This is perfect for them. Bryce Benson gets the free pass anyways. Everyone else, I would assume, would take the wave around. At least I would. Sean Rowe, your leader before, he's going to actually lose 2 spots here to both Matthew White. I think Hunsaker stayed out. Of course, they'll lose another spot there. I don't know what he's doing. Kind of just sitting here. I think he had a little bit of cosmetic damage, so maybe just looking to repair it here. I would expect those guys that pit here to stay out at the stage. Now you're running your second set of tires. Come to choose this time by, and then we'll restart with 5 to go in the stage. So of course we saw a bit of a nice long green flag run, nearly 50 laps there. Unfortunately, the caution comes out when yet another case of iRacing throwing a caution that shouldn't have been a caution. As the 77 Hunsaker goes top. How about John Butler going behind Chandler for the outside? Kind of interesting there. That's going to give the second row to Ashton Miller here. Of course, these drivers that stayed out here, opportunities. Braden Hunsaker, maybe now opportunity to kind of get some a bit of a comeback, or not a comeback, but a bit of a redemption from losing the stage with bad pitch strategy last week. Can he now do a perfect strategy this week and win the stage? Restarting with 5 to go in it. Alrighty. Here we go. Going to be on lap 74 here at Phoenix Raceway. With 5 to go in the stage. Pat to green. Good restart. He actually slides around a little bit for Braden Hunsaker as we go back underway with 5 laps to go to the halfway break in Phoenix. Oh, spinner on the inside. Oh, he got absolutely slammed by Erdman. This is about to bring out the most untimely caution ever. No, apparently not. Now it's out. Oh, this is a terribly timed caution. This may be the halfway break. I guess it would be. Coming to 4 to go. This is going to be the halfway break. Talk about untimely cautions. My God. This makes it so interesting now. Let's take a look at what happened to Erdman in a minute. It's Jacob Quayle. So Quayle there on the inside. Oh, it came down a little bit on Gary, on Axel Smith. I mean, nowhere to go, and that's unfortunate for CJ Erdman. I think he's going to be done now. Jacob Quayle coming to pit road here. This is going to be the halfway break, so we're going to have cars going to have to stay out now here till the stage.
Got word from Bryce Benson. He still has about 9.5 minutes of damage left, so probably not going to see him up front for a while.
This is the stage unless they can get it back going here for a restart with 1 to go. I don't know what they're going to end up doing here. All right, so I don't know if they're going to come to the choose or not. If they don't come to the choose here, we're going to finish the stage under caution. If they do come to the choose here, then we're going to have a restart with 1 to go in the stage. All right, then we're choosing. Wow, okay, we're going to have a stage restart here. Cars trying to roll off back here. This has been an interesting race. We're going to have 7 cautions once this stage break comes out. Definitely a race that doesn't feel like it's had 7 cautions already. Well, pace car's in now. We're going to have a 1-lap shootout for the stage here in Phoenix. Here we go. How will this play out? Can Braden Hunsaker hold on? Look at an opportunity for Cameron Chandler there as well. And Ashton Miller, great opportunity, third on the inside to get stage points here. Here we go. This is going to end the stage. One lap shootout here in Phoenix. Back underway. Ooh, you see a bad restart for Cameron Chandler. He spun the tires. Braden Hunsaker's away, and Cameron's going to get split as they head through the dogleg down the front straightaway. They're 3 wide behind him. We're going to be aggressive here for stage points, but can't be too aggressive. Don't want to crash your car. They're, like I said, they're 4 wide back up 1 and 2 here. Fresh tires trying to come. You see the 7 of Matthew Wood on fresh tires. Final time down the back straightaway in the stage. Havrilla is getting aggressive back there. You see Sean Rowe all the way to the inside. Oh, Havrilla is going to spin. Around goes the 50. Green to white checkered flag. Braden Hunsaker will win the stage. Second is Cameron Chandler, John Butler, White Miller, Stacy Wilkin, Rowe Ortiz, and I believe Hilquich over the line for the stage break here in Phoenix. Good Lord. Getting a little bit interesting here to come into the caution. Well, now who stays out, who pits? That's the question. I would assume if you stayed out here, we're going to immediately come to pit road. Assume if you stayed out, you're going to stay out here, you're going to pit here, but if you pitted earlier, you're going to stay out. And we're seeing that just happen now. Here they come. Cars that stayed out, down pit road, and cars that pitted are going to be staying out. All right, so leaders that pit here are on pit road right now. Four Fish can do tires, so that'll. Here, real quick, we'll watch battle of pit road. It's going to be Hunsaker wins the race. Second, going to be Chandler. Third, John Butler. Fourth, Miller. Fifth, Andrew Stacy. So it'll be now. It's going to put them in an interesting situation for these guys that stay out. They're going to have a little bit less fuel than the guys that pit here. Only about 5 stay out. Everybody else comes to pit road. Matthew White's going to restart here with the lead. So, bit of an interesting way to end the stage after that long green flag run. And we're going to come with the shoes this time by. It'll be on lap 81. We'll be back underway. Oh, now over halfway in this race on lap 82. So, Payson, maybe what was your biggest surprise here in this first half?
No, definitely Cole Clausen. Cole Clausen, he was running the top 5 for the majority of that long run there. He started to fall off towards the end, but he was definitely probably the biggest surprise there in the first stage. He had a lot of short run pace. I think if we get maybe a 15-lap run to end the stage, or to end the race, he can definitely be up front and battle for the win.
Here's Aiden Donahue, who's going to restart, I believe, 20th. Still struggling today with that damage on that 82 car. It's not been an awful season for Aiden. Hasn't really had an issue like this all year long. Just really hasn't had the race-winning pace, the dominant pace like he used to have.
It doesn't look like there's much damage left on the 82. A little bit of front end damage, maybe slightly of rear end damage. Probably needs one more caution to get that thing all fixed up.
Bryce Benton still missing his front end, his entire nose, that is. So that's going to be very tough to manage for him throughout the rest of this one. All right, we're going to be back on the way on lap 82. The second half here at Phoenix Raceway. Matthew White and Sean Rowe, because Wilkin chose the inside. Interesting maneuver there by Trenton Wilkin. He's going to give his teammate the outside for the restart. Back underway in the second half here in Phoenix. Great restart for, not a bad restart for Matthew White, I should say, but Sean Rowe fighting back on the outsides. They head back into 1 and 2. Rowe, of course, led the most laps in the first half. It's on the way to the stage, but until that caution came out during the long run. See what drivers on fresher tires, a little bit fresher tires can do back there. First one is Cameron Chandler. Great Hunsaker didn't get a great restart back here in 11th. See Chandler to the outside of the 71 of Cole Clausen. Getting back into 1 and 2. Cameron Chandler there, the 79 of Ashton Miller also involved. And that 4 car of Carlos Ortiz, who's getting a little bit loose. Chandler wants to try to get around these drivers on older tires. I mean, they are just slightly older tires, but wants to take advantage of any sort of new tire life that he has. Looking up front, Matthew White leads over Sean Rowe with Trent Wilkin running in third. Here they come to the dog leg. Once again here in Phoenix, Sean Rowe putting the pressure to the back bumper. That 7 car, there he is to the inside. Was the fastest car in the first run, led most of the laps. Starting the battle for the lead yet again, looking for 2 wins in a row if he gets the job done today. Trent Wilkin, though, watch now, but he's back there in third as Matthew White is beginning his blinking party. There's Cameron Chandler to the inside of Cole Clausen. Seems really solid on the short run. Not so sure how the long run pace will be for that 8 machine. He's up to 4th. Trent Wilkin there trying to get there on for 2nd on the 20 of Sean Rowe. That is his teammates at ETR battling for P2. Teams right now, you got here Highline Motorsports leading, ETR 2nd, 3rd, TCMC Chief Chevy Motor Club 4th, and then M&F Racing P5 with Cole Clausen. But it's about to be a Showtime car passing him. Here comes the 79 of Ashton Miller to the bottom. For 5th place, Miller slowly but surely in this race. He has been reeling everybody in, and look at him maybe even have a top 5 run. He's been feeling more and more confident for 2nd. Teammates door to door. Rowe gets moved up the racetrack. This is just kind of allowing Matthew White to pull away. Side by side between Ashton Miller and the 71 car of Cole Clausen for 5th place. Miller's got the spine. The P5 he goes. Hunsicker out in the wall. He's still back there in 9th. Gained 2 spots since the last time we looked at him, but still not exactly where he was earlier after winning the stage. Way back on Cameron Chandler. There he is to the inside of Ortiz for 8th. And he will get that 8th place away. Still really having a good run is Cole Clausen. He hit the wall earlier in this race. I thought that would affect him, but he's still running here in P6. A little bit further back, you see Bryce Benton still in the top 20 with that big front end damage. Aiden Donahue. Still, the night continues to be bad. Runs in 19th in that 82 machine. Andrew Stacy, how about him inside the top 10? His goal all season was a lot of top 15, but door slams the 4 of Carlos Ortiz down on a 1 and 2. Good Lord. That was close. Or maybe Ortiz not too pleased with the 96 of Stacy now. Side by side making more contact. Back into 3 and 4. Ortiz probably not going to be very happy at all with that 96 machine of Andrew Stacy. Up front, Matthew Wood has pulled them out now a half second away from Sean Rowe. Again, that 96 of Stacy moves Ortiz up the racetrack. Ortiz finally gets re-clear, but Stacy still has not given in. Back to the inside he goes. Door to door, through the dog leg for 9th place. These two are absolutely going at it up front, or just inside of the top 10, I should say. Sean Hillquist trying to get into the battle as well. He hasn't really had a whole lot of top 10 runs this season. Wants one tonight. Up the racetrack goes Andrew Stacy with Ortiz. Axel Smith back here about 12. 3 wide almost. Look at the 30 of Hillquist down to the bottom. Ooh, Hillquist drives it in deep to clear of Carlos Ortiz. What a move. Looking up front real quick. It's starting to get a little bit tight with Cameron Chandler. He has caught the back bumper of the 12 of Trent Wilkin. He's to the outside of him for 3rd. Here comes Cameron. The old driver, the oldest driver I've ever seen in P3. Turns 18 tomorrow. Look at John Butler down to the inside. I thought he was just made a 3-wide move. Oh, contact! Cole Clausen got absolutely door slammed by Braden Hunsicker. My goodness. 2 Cup Series champions right there. And of course, 3 Cup Series champions inside of the top 8 right now. Matthew White, Braden Hunsicker, and Cole Clausen. Here comes for 3rd, that 8 car of Cameron Chandler. Ashton Miller still really improving in 5th place. But these guys are just allowing Matthew White to pull away. Sean Rowe still in 2nd, but not doing anything. Ooh, Chandler almost chopped off the back end of that 12 car of Wilkin. I don't know how to please that 71 of Cole Clausen is going to be with the 77 of Braden Hunsicker. We'll have to see in a minute. Caution is out on lap 94. Oh, it's Connor Havrilla going around, I believe. Let's see here. No, it's not. Oh, it's Max Diffie. With Landon Johnson for the second straight week. Max Diffie runs himself on the wall and then gets nowhere to go for Johnson, and unfortunate for both of them.
And of course I come back to a caution.
Yep, it's Max Diffie as usual.
Okay.
Well, caution's out in lap 96. First caution here of the half. Matthew White was pulling out a nice advantage. Definitely doesn't want to see this yellow. All right, well, here we go. Car's going to pit. This should make the fuel situation interesting. Very, very interesting. And Ashton Miller stays out. He's the only one. Oh, my God. Kilbastion stays out now. How will that go in the restart?
I don't know what Ashton's doing. We're good to the end.
I don't know either. You guys are good to the end?
Yes, after we pit.
That's a Hail Mary strategy for no reason with over 50 laps to go for Ashton Miller. Cars on pit road, though. He certainly saw something. Maybe he thought more cars would stay out. Clearly not, though. Here we go. I think that was 2 tires for John Butler. He's going to be off pit road first. You're doing that, you're not able to get as much fuel in. Here we go. Off pit road is going to be the 7 of Matthew White. Then you got the 12 of Wilkin, I believe. It's close here. Sean Rowe, I believe, actually beat him. There's Cameron Chandler, Braden Hunsicker, Sean Hillquist, Cole Clausen lost a couple of spots back there. All right. So we're going to come to the choose here. This is going to be interesting with Ryan Kilbastion. Has no Cup Series experience even in the top 10. The inside goes Miller. Outside goes Kilbastion with John Butler. Very weird strategy for Miller to stay out here. Not exactly sure why.
We're definitely going to have to watch tire spin here. From Miller, Kilbastion, and probably even John Butler a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that on the restart.
Of course, Butler on 2, so it's going to make it less obvious. But you gotta be careful with that 10 car Kilbastion. I would assume he would probably just fall through the field. He doesn't have top 10 pace anyways, and he's on old tires, so it's kind of a bad combination here. And he's inexperienced. So we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully they just cleanly make their way around him. So I got a lot of cars catching back up to the end of the field here. All right, well, 2 cars stay out. A restart on lap 99 here in Phoenix. Back to green we go. There's a good restart by that 7 car, Matthew White. Look at him, all the way to the inside already on Ashton Miller. Fresh tires working wonders for that 7 machine, and Miller's going to be passed, ready for the lead. Look at them 3 wide behind them. Oh, it's going to get dicey here. Cole Clausen stuck there. Cameron Chandler almost got a piece of the 09 of John Butler. See, oh, yep, what did I say? Unbelievable. Cole Clausen's destroyed, and yep, Ryan Kilbastion. Oh, they're still racking here. The 12 of Bryce Benson's involved. The 50 of Connor Havrilla, and yep, under caution again. What did I say with the 50 of the 10 of Kilbastion? I believe John Butler just misjudged that. But I was going to say, you got to be careful getting around him, and unfortunately, they were not. He's on the brakes way too early. That's what happens. And then Cole Clausen, man, that is so unfortunate for the 71. You just, it sucks to see. It really does. And then I don't know what happened here with Bryce Benson. It's right along with the 9. He's just had an awful day. It was Hillquich who came down in front of him, and then he got hit from behind. Piles them up again. We'll see if Ashton Miller actually pits in this. It actually is on pit road. Ashton Miller is, by the way. Just not a good strategy at all for that 79 car. It will not work out. Look here from the blimp. They were 3 wide. Yeah. First got Kilbastion down the back straightaway. Just, you can't be on the brakes that early. I don't know what he was doing at all. Can't do that. And look at Maxi
Clausen with heavy damage too.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Cole was having such a good day. That really ruins a lot of people's days here.
A lot of underdogs kind of running towards the front. We're destroyed in that one.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. Ashton Miller's going to stay in the top 10 because a lot of cars have to repair damage. Shoes here. Not a lot of cars that actually do the shoes because a lot of them are currently catching back up.
Doesn't look like the damage was that bad for Jacob Quayle here. And same with Butler. Doesn't really look like he has much damage. Maybe a little bit on the right front, but he should be good to go here as well.
But look at all these cars catching up. My God. Leaders are about to come back to the restart.
You know there's a lot of damaged cars when I'm like the first damaged one, and I love it.
My God. All right. Well, we'll see what happens here. It's been a pretty interesting race, to say the least. We get some of the silliness out of the way, and we'll get back to racing here, actually. Back underway. They can make it to the end on fuel. How about that tire situation? We saw already a long run tonight. Back to green, though, on lap 103 in Phoenix. Here's Sean Rowe already cruising, trying to get to the outside of that 7 of white. Oh, my. It's again Kilbastion. Nearly wrecks the car. Saves it. Impressively, actually. That was a great save. Here we go. 77 Hunsicker now looking at the inside, almost on that 12 car Wilkin, but stays in line. Some cloud cover on the racetrack, by the way. That could change some things, how the cars handle. Matthew White leads back at a 1 and 2 over Sean Rowe, Trent Wilkin. Still got Cameron Chandler back there in 5th. Here is Wilkin to the inside of Rowe. Oh, moves him way up the racetrack. Teammates, by the way. For second. Not racing like teammates right now. Up the racetrack again, goes that 12, again and almost into his teammate's door. Got to back out of it, looks like he will. And we'll let Sean Rowe go. Cameron Chandler back here. How about Axel Smith in 6th? I feel kind of got jumbled up a little bit. Andrew Stacey now working to the inside of Axel Smith in that 97 car. And here's Hunsicker now. He's got Cameron Chandler to his outside. We know that A-car is very, very quick. Still hasn't been able to capitalize on really anything, though, tonight. Be able to take the lead, at least, that is. For 4th, though, on the bottom he goes through 1 and 2. Your points leader. Oh, contact with Braden Hunsicker. Well, he will back out of the gas and fall back to 5th. Matthew White, of course, 1 win already this season at Richmond. Would love a second one of the year tonight. Cameron Chandler all the way down to the low side on that 77 Huntsicker. He this time will clear. In the fourth goes Chandler. Definitely one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. These two ETR cars battling here for second so hard. This could allow the old man to come back into it. For the second spot here to the inside. Oh, contact between teammates. Sean Rowe's got to be fuming with his teammate right now, Trent Wilkin. He is not treating him with too much respect. Battling for second. Here comes Cameron Chandler right back into this, like I said. Chandler on the bumper of Wilkins. They head back into 1 and 2. The racetrack trying a bit of a higher line. It's definitely one of the fastest cars on track. It's a little bit loose though. It's gonna have a shot at third here. I mean, you really can't use the bumpers too well in this Gen 4 car. There's a reason why Martinsville isn't on the schedule. You can just imagine how that would go if bumping runs. Chandler gonna drive it pretty deep at a 1 and 2 to the door of to the quarter panel of the 12. Wilkins still can't keep it side by side though. At 112 here in Phoenix. Cameron Chandler trying to run down, and we're going to try to ride along with him if we can actually get to a good angle with Cameron Chandler. Still back there in fourth. These Gen 4 engines absolutely scream down on 1 and 2. Huntsicker actually, I thought he was to the side. I thought I heard something for a second. I was wrong. Wilkin is starting to get a little bit loose. You still would have to save your stuff because there's a ways to go in this race. So you don't get another caution flag. Tires would be important. Riding with Trent Wilkin. Cameron Chandler tries a higher lane down on a 1 and 2. Tries to make sure to capitalize on that. Heading down the back straightaway yet again. Back through turns 3 and 4. Been a good race so far tonight from the Phoenix Raceway. But Matthew White's got about a 9/10 of a second lead over Sean Rowe, Trent Wilkin, and others here in front at Phoenix.
Yeah, Matthew White's just been consistently about a little over a 10th, sometimes a little under a 10th faster than Sean Rowe. Sean Rowe, I don't know if he's just saving his tires, but still has pressure from Trent Wilkin and Eric Wilkin. He can close up on him in these closing laps.
And we will see what happens there. A little bit throughout the pack, you got Axel Smith in 7th. Battle for 8th. Aiden Holes is having a great run. How about him? He was a lap down at one point. Now he's in 8th. Battle with Ashton Miller and John Butler, which has been 2 top 10 cars all race long. How about Zane Rahman in 11th? Really good run for him. Got his career best and incredible second place finish last night in the Grand National race. Of course, Payson, he's running your colors this week, by the way.
Yeah, they were very desperate to run the race, so they decided to hop on board. That number 1 machine is Zane Rahman, and paint scheme looks great. We might actually run a paint scheme similar to that when we come back. I believe we're coming back at, I don't know what track we go back to, but whatever track we come back to, we're probably going to be running a similar course. Great run for Lamont for P11.
There's Ashton Miller, just got around Aiden Poles for 8th. Now John Butler, kind of worst he's run all day in 10th. Been a solid top 10 car for the last 2 races. He's working outside of that 42 machine.
Been told that 42 car does have a little bit of wheel damage. I believe he knocked the wall down just a couple of laps ago, so he's probably going to be falling for the field here.
A little bit up here. You got Bryce Benson battling with no front end. How about that? To the inside of the 71 of Cole Clausen. I don't really understand how that 9 car is still running okay. Here in 17. Aiden Donahue currently there. Sebastian. Aiden Donahue currently running in 14. What a save that I believe was for the 30th Sean Hillquist. Go towards the front of the field. Here's the battle for second once again. Rowe is continuing to fall back on Matthew White.
Rowe now over a 10th slower a lap than Matthew White. Matthew White, even though he was pulling away there early in the run, definitely has saved his tires. Now here comes Trent Wilkin trying to get the inside again on Sean Rowe.
Wilkin on the bumper, that 20 car. Here he comes. Oh, Rowe is loose. Bit of a bobble down the dog leg. Here comes his teammate, Trent Wilkin. The 2 Ethan Trendler racing cars race side by side back into 1 and 2. Oh, Wilkin's going to move his teammate way up the racetrack. Rowe is to try to save it. Here comes Cameron Chandler. 2 of these drivers have to back out of the gas, and Chandler's right back into it. Wilkin in 3rd. There's Cameron Chandler still there in 4th, trying to move his way back to the inside of this 12th car. Cameron has been struggling to complete passes all day long. When he gets inside of the top 3, that is. Oh, what happened?
I ran into him. We're both struggling. I got like 3 minutes of damage.
Here's the 8 car of Cameron Chandler to the inside of the 12 car of Trent Wilkin. Just has to stay in line back into 1 and 2 again. Braden Hunsicker that in 5th. How about Andrew Stacy? What a run he's having in 6th place. Wasn't really a top 10 car for most of the day, then all of a sudden, late in the race here, coming on strong. Oh, contact between Chandler and Wilkin. Chandler is starting to get desperate here. Just over 30 laps to go here in Phoenix. Matthew White's got a 1.4 second lead over Sean Rowe. Battle for 3rd between Trent Wilkin and Cameron Chandler is really heated up now. It is absolutely on for P3 here in the desert. 126 laps in. Braden Hunsicker still there, runs in 5th. Here's that 8 car, Cameron Chandler to the inside of Trent Wilkin. To the dog leg they go side by side. For that 3rd spot. Chandler's absolutely, this is the 3rd time I've seen him tonight, just drive it in so deep. He's going to do it. No, he's not. Wilkin back to the outside, but actually going to stay side by side with him. Might have worked a little bit. Down the back they go, door to door.
Yeah, the 8 car's been the only one that's been able to make that very inside line work.
Oh!
What it is, slide up to the side of Wilkin now. Definitely struggling a little bit with that right rear, I think.
Chandler is going for 3rd. He is absolutely charging this thing into the corners. Look at how low he goes. My goodness. This time, Wilkin might roll the outside pretty nicely. It looks like he will, and he is going to, get turned! Almost gets turned. What a save by Trent Wilkin. Here comes Braden Hunsicker. He's back into the battle for 3rd. Wilkin may not be very happy with Cameron Chandler now. Chandler's definitely pretty frustrated himself, trying to get around him. Here's Hunsicker in the 77 now to the inside of Cameron Chandler. Ooh, Chandler got loose. He's going to lose that spot. Back to 5th he goes.
Yeah, that 8 car definitely struggling with the right rear now. I believe he heated it up trying to send it in there in 1 2. Definitely was working the first few times, but now just no rear grip and is unable to keep it with that 12 car and trying to move off the 2.
Very unfortunate though for Cameron Chandler. Birthday tomorrow. Would love a birthday win. We're riding in 5th.
A lot of lap traffic coming up here for Matthew.
Yeah.
I believe we have Rilla coming up first.
Connor Everly, you got Landon Johnson, 9 Bryce Benson, got Phil Bastion, and the 71 of Cole Clausen. First, damaged race cars. Here comes your leader, the 7. How will they move out of the way? They are battling for positions, so I wouldn't expect them to just move out of the way like it's nothing.
Just looking last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack by just a little over 100th of a second to Matthew White. Not sure if he was saving his tires there, even when battling with Cameron, but he's definitely got some long run pace in that pro machine.
I mean, yeah, Trent Wilkin isn't exactly known for his very great long run speed. Bryce Benson back here is still trying to hold on to any sort of okay finish with how this race has gone for him. Oh, he might just about wreck the car. He's trying to save it. Here comes Matthew White to the inside of Havrilla to put him a lap down. Got to be careful if you're Matthew White here. Johnson up the racetrack as well. Well, Bryce Benson and Matthew White aren't exactly the greatest of friends, to be honest. Here's Havrilla battling to the inside of the 88 of Landon Johnson. Gonna take this spot away. Johnson back to his inside there, getting a little bit aggressive back here, and Brenton kind of moves out of the way for the 7. Now Havrilla to the outside of the 9 of Benson for 17th. They are, of course, paddling hard for these last spots inside of the top 20. Then Matthew White, your leader, just lapping them. Sean Rowe, 2nd, trying to get into this. He wants to get around all this, but it's going to be tough now with them going at it so hard. My goodness. And they've been free-wheeled to do whatever they want for these positions. But now Sean Rowe is going to have to make it his way through this little mess that's going on between these 3. Rowe there to the inside of Havrilla now. Go lap him. This kind of similar situation to Matthew White here. Not going to really benefit either of them, it looks like. Gap 1.7 seconds between Matthew White and Sean Rowe for the lead. Both these drivers already have wins this year, but Wilkin, Hunsicker, Chandler, Stacy Smith, Miller, Butler, Roman, Holes, Quayle, all the way back to Cole Clausen, or at least all the way back to Cole Clausen, or Aiden Donahue in 14th, and Cole Clausen, your next winner, in 15th right now. Top 2, of course, have won races this season in the Cup Series already. 1 win at Richmond for Matthew White. 1 win last week at Nashville for 20 of Sean Rowe. 20 to go in Phoenix for Matthew White. Trenton Wilkin trying to lap Bryce Benson. He'll do just that. Ooh, we got Benson trying to get out of the way of some of your top 5 cars. And Johnson gets put a lap down, but still having a good day in 18th. Kind of survived some attrition at the back of the field.
What are you talking about, bro? We got D. Filippi.
Of course, we know tempers are flaring. It's late in the race. Well over 130 laps have been completed around this Phoenix Raceway. There's been a lot of contact. They're at the back of the field today. A lot of drivers not happy back there, have had the races gone. And they're still battling for positions, any sort of points they can get. So, yeah, you don't look now. The caution could come out. We've seen a couple times already this season. Under these long green flag runs late in the race. Oh, Braden Hunsiker's loose! My goodness. Nearly lost his race car. Oh, he's again sideways. My God. Braden Hunsicker is out of control. Running in fourth all of a sudden. He has just lost handling on that race car. Cameron Chandler may start to close this gap up. Back there in fifth. Matthew White leads by 1.9 seconds, the biggest gap he's had all day. With 16 laps to go. For win number 2 of the year. Of course, the all-time wins leader, Matthew White, is in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. He is also looking for career win number 24. Definitely the strongest race all around he's had. I mean, Richmond, he wasn't the fastest car. This second half of the race, he has definitely been probably the best car on the racetrack, even though the first half wasn't the greatest for him.
I don't know. He looks faster than Matthew that lap. He hasn't been fast for the last 2 laps, but he's close enough. A little under his best that lap. It should be interesting to see if we can start closing it up here on Matthew.
I mean, he's still got a ways to go. 1.9 seconds still the gap. I don't think he would get there unless White all of a sudden falls off a cliff or we get a caution here.
Yeah, I think they don't get caution now. They probably hold on to it. Conroe's lap times, they're starting to get a little lower, so if we just keep it up, I might be able to close in on him.
Matthew White is coming to 13 laps to go this time by. He gets a little bit loose there off corner exit. Sean Rowe got in the wall slightly as well. Definitely they're pushing. They know it's, obviously it's go time. So you gotta use up your stuff now. Matthew White looks to lap 8 in Donahue. We'll probably just get out of the way. Lap cars, besides that one battle, have been getting out of the way of the leaders, even no matter what, I feel like, all day long. Actually, Donahue battling here, Matthew White, what was I saying? He's not getting out of the way, certainly, here. Wants to stay on the lead lap, to the outside of the wall a little bit. Now he kind of lets him go. A little bit further back. There's Trenton Wilkin, Braden Hunsicker, Cameron Chandler running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Of course, Ethan Chandler Racing and Highline Motorsports take up all of the top 4 spots. Team Chevy Motor Club car in 8th and 5th. I mean, Team Chevy Motor Club hasn't had a great day. Besides Cameron Chandler running in P5, Chris Bryce Benton, terrible day for him. Carlos Ortiz running in 20th, and Payson Lindsay is in the booth with me right now, so that should say things, how things are going for that team besides Cameron. Braden Hunsicker is still trying to run down Trent Wilkin. He's nearly wrecking the car. Oh man, he got loose. Doesn't want to cause a caution for his teammate. That would not be a very good team meeting tomorrow morning, if that happens. Then to go in Phoenix.
Matthew's starting to blink out, probably.
The gap is 1.8 seconds up front still. It's kind of been around the 1.8, 1.9 for a while now.
Sean just not really able to close that gap up.
The face is just so close for especially these top 5 drivers.
On with about 2 tenths lower that lap. So I think Matthew's got the win here if we just go green at the end and there's no problems for the rest of the car.
There's under 10 laps to go, but we've seen it time and time again this season. Doesn't matter how long the green flag run is at the end of the race. For some reason, some way, it always seems like a full moon is out, even when we're in the middle of the daytime. But my point still stands. All of a sudden, something could happen. Here we go. Cameron Chandler to the inside of Braden Hunsicker for 4th. Chandler is the points leader coming to this one. Hasn't had, as the points leader, he's had a good day overall, but as the points leader, hasn't had his best day. He's still searching for the first one of the year.
Got a good battle here for 6th and 7th between Andrew Stacy and Axel Smith. Axel Smith has been a little better than Andrew as it's gone on, and Ashton Miller is kind of doing this battle.
Yeah, Cameron Chandler just got 4th away from Braden Hunsicker. the pace instead. Look at this going on. Axel Smith got Ashton Miller on his bumper for 7th. Andrew Stacy has been trying to hold on for this position. Closing laps of this race. 7 laps to go in Phoenix here. Oh, Ashton Miller almost crashes. Matthew White has lapped up all the way to 13th. Really, really good pace out of that 7 car.
Maybe if we get, well, maybe if the 11 was towards the end of the race too.
Here's Connor Havrillo inside of Kilbastion for a minute. Back up here. There's Sean Rowe now 2 seconds the gap. Matthew White, 5 laps to go in Phoenix. Would love to see that white flag now, but still got a little bit to go before that actually happens. Hey, look at this. He doesn't want to see this side by side between Axel Smith and Payson or Andrew Stacy for 6th. Doesn't want to see anything like that, especially getting loose. There is
5-car battle here.
Yeah, I know
Next, but
it's getting pretty dicey. You got to be careful here. Ashton Miller there in the 79 car as well.
yeah, definitely not what Matthew White wants to do here.
Ryan Kilbastion, the lap car on the bottom. Also got Havrillo as another lap car. Kilbastion kind of looks like he's just giving up at this point. They're trying to get around that 50 car of Havrillo. Havrillo has been one of the most aggressive cars on track. So it probably will not be too easy. Oh, God, Andrew Stacy got really loose for a minute. Way to go, though, for Matthew White. Just wants to see that white flag. I mean, he's lucky he can't see this going on right now. He would be sweating. Look at it. Is getting aggressive here. To the inside, 2 to go now. Goes Ashton Miller on this 96 of Andrew Stacy to his quarter panel. My God. 3 wide almost down the front stretch. And back at a 1 and 2 they go. Oh, Stacy gets loose. Here comes Ashton Miller to his inside. It is getting really tight. White flag is in the air. Matthew White takes it officially. Final laps underway. They're 3 wide. Oh, and they're going to nearly wreck. My goodness, it's getting aggressive back here. White flag, a final lap underway. And Matthew White already took it. Look at this battle here. Matthew White hasn't been the greatest season, but he's going to make his way through 3 and 4 to take win number 2 of the year and career win number 24. Matthew White wins in Phoenix. Sean Rowe's going to finish in 2nd. Wilk in 3rd. Hunsicker Chandler 4th. Hunsicker 5th. Look at this battle back here. There's the 97 of Axel Smith trying to hold on to P6. John Butler got 7th to the inside, coming to the checkered flag behind him. You also see Ashton Miller to the inside of Andrew Stacy. St. Herman got in there as well to the checkered flag. It's Stacy 8th, Miller 9th, Herman 10th. But Matthew White wins in Phoenix. What a race. And a long run to end it. Kind of what we needed. And he picks up career win, like I said, 24. All-time wins leader. Extends that of obviously for his 2nd win of the year. And he won 2 very similar style of racetracks, Richmond and now Phoenix. So he's looking to show that what style of track is. But Matthew White takes, what was it, in the last about 100, or the last about 50 laps of this race, didn't look back, pretty much dominant through the last 50 laps. And a great points day for the 7 with this win. And he will burn it down up to victory lane. His 2nd career win, I should say, at Phoenix. He won back here in season 1. And he's stuck in the fence right now. Oh my God. I think he needs a little bit of help from somebody. If anyone is able to do that, Cole Clausen maybe going to try to do that. Your winner last night in Grand National. Oh, this sucks for Matthew White. Oh, this is really unfortunate. Can't get up the victory lane. He's stuck in the fence right now. I wouldn't be too happy if I was Matthew White right now. After doing all that, winning the race, all of a sudden, yeah. Well, Matthew White's not going to be able to drive to victory lane tonight, but man, I would say a very good race there. There were a couple of caution flags that were questionable on our iRacing's part, so maybe a little bit messy at some points, but ultimately there were two pretty decently long green flag runs, about 50 laps each. So Payson, I really enjoyed this one on the racetrack here in Phoenix Raceway. Definitely better than the last two races here we've had.
Yeah, definitely what this league needed. I mean, we've had quite a few messy races this season, but I believe it was about like a 50 lap green flag run in this race. That's exactly what we needed. And Matthew White really good on that long run there. I believe, who was it? Yeah, Zane Rahman comes home in P10. That was a really good finish for him there in those Freeway Insurance colors. Has had quite a few rough races, but comes home with P2 in the Xfinity race, or the Grand National race, and P10 here in the Cup race.
Yeah, very good finish for that #1 machine. This is a great week for Zane Rahman. All right, well, that will do it here at Phoenix Raceway. So interviews are going to be coming up. Post-race interviews here from Phoenix Raceway in Arizona. Matthew White scores his second win of the season and 24th of his career. We're trying to get Matthew White for an interview. Usually he doesn't like to do those for some reason. But we'll see in a minute. So, yeah, but ultimately, great race all around, I would say. No little caution mess to the end there this time after a lot of green flag running. So that's nice. Matthew White ends up leading 75 laps, which is the most on the day, so he will get that bonus point. He actually led 5 more laps than Sean Rose. That bonus point, that was actually a good battle for the bonus point there at the end. Or Matthew White takes it by 5 laps. So that's what things could do. Like 1 point could matter. That's just 1 point, but you never know what that could mean through the end of the season. All right, so Matthew White's currently not answering me, so we're gonna have Sean Rowe up here for the first interview. Sean Rowe, been a very good 2 races. You guys finished second after obviously winning last week at Nashville Super Speedway. So you guys had led a lot of the first half here at, I believe you led 70 or so laps in the first half of this race. At the end of that, after the halfway break, you guys were just never able to reclaim that speed. So what was kind of the missing point as you guys come home this second?
Clean air. I don't this race especially is one of the worst with it because it was surprisingly single groove. But yeah, the clean air was just super OP. Like I held Matthew, granted I did drive pretty defensively aggressive, but I held him off for like most of the entire first stage, and then he got in front of me. I knew it was pretty much over from there unless I got him on a restart or on pit road. But yeah, I mean, I do think he was the fastest guy, so like that's nothing against him. It's just it's frustrating because I wish I could at least like I don't know tried to have a shot at it.
Well, of course, Sean, but 2 very great finishes in a row. You got your first win, of course, last week at Nashville Super Speedway. Now you come into Phoenix and get a second place finish. So do you think things are really starting to click? Before you guys had good speed, just weren't getting the finishes you wanted. Do you think it's starting to click with now the finishes?
The finishes, yeah, but I'm still pretty disappointed with this race because I think me and Cameron, I think he gained points on me because of the stage, which was frustrating because I just expected like everyone to pit. But I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, you need to run near the front. I've definitely gotten better at qualifying over the past few weeks because I used to qualify like 10th or something in this car. Like I was pretty bad. But yeah, definitely been executing better. Just need to figure out how to maximize points.
All right. Well, Sean, of course, we got the off week for real NASCAR Speed Weeks next week. Unfortunately, we have to take that. But of course, then we head to Rockingham Speedway after that, which is, of course, definitely kind of a unique racetrack in Rockingham, North Carolina. What's your maybe what are you looking forward to there most at Rockingham, and how do you think that can maybe suit your driving style?
Is it gonna be the new one or the old one?
It's the old one.
Oh, um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good there, especially on the old one through Gen 4. So hopefully I qualify well, and then I should be pretty easy top five if I qualify well. But I don't know. That'll probably be a wreck fest. I don't know. I could see myself running 20th that race or running like top three. It could be quite interesting.
All right. Well, of course, Sean, nice job here finishing second. Back to back, of course, top two finishes in a row here. And we will see you after the off week in Rockingham, North Carolina.
Deuces.
Trent Wilkin finishes third. Trent Wilkin, a very, very hard fought third place finish. You hold off to NASCAR Racing FedEx League champions Cameron Chandler and Braden Hunsaker to finish here P3 behind your teammate Sean Rowe. So you and Sean made a bit of contact there earlier before in this run, but ultimately you guys will hold on to third place. So very strong race for you guys. How did you ultimately end up doing this?
Just practicing. I knew during practice I knew we had a fast car, and then sadly messing up during qualifying put us to the back, where we were able to have a good pit stall and staying out of trouble. But this like looking, I had like pretty good long run. I had top four long run. I felt like, and yeah, I probably needed caution there to have a chance for the win. But in all, kind of happy for P3 with Phoenix being one of my better tracks, and I feel like honestly between the top five, whoever was the leader, to have like towards the end would have just probably won the race in all honesty.
Well, of course, Trenton, great finish for you guys. You needed this finish. You came to this race. Let me check real quick. You're, of course, outside of the chase. It was coming to this race 15th in points. So with this, you should probably gain a good amount of points, especially with, of course, Pace and Lindsay being, unfortunately, of course, he got suspended for this race. He was right on the chase cut line with his penalty as well. So how big of a confidence boost is this top five finish heading to Rockingham next week, especially now you're being closer to the chase?
Confident. Just gotta get settled in. Don't know necessarily how Rockingham will be for us next. It's either gonna be good or it's gonna be horrendous. Hopefully, just be able to find a groove. If anything, get a good solid top 10, maybe a top 5, top 7 finish, get some stage points, and just come out of there with a good solid points today. That's all we really need to do is just finish the season with some good points. Maybe, hopefully, get our first win. But in the end, just top 3, top 5, top 7, top 10, wherever it's going to be, just make sure we get up there in the chase, knowing that we have a speed to possibly compete if we have our all of our cards fall right.
All right, Trenton. Well, nice job finishing third here at Phoenix Raceway tonight, and we will see you after the off week for Rockingham.
All right, much appreciated.
That was, of course, Trent Wilkin. Coming up next is going to be, let's see here. Believe it is going to be, if I can actually look. Actually, I think it's going to be Zayn Rahman. Zayn Rahman, a lot of comers and goers, especially towards the back half of the top 10 there. And you guys will complete your really, really great week. And you get a top 10, I believe your first of the season here in the Cup Series this year at a track that's not too easy, Phoenix Raceway. So, of course, finishing second, you can only get one spot better than that in the Grand National race. Definitely a lot less chaotic here at the end of the Cup race, but still, you show you can run up front a top 10 finish here. How did you ultimately get there?
Yeah, I mean, I just ran my pace, whatever I could, I did with the car. So, really thankful for my freeway insurance Chevy to have a good run tonight. So, Yeah, it was incredible, really. At one point, I nearly topped at the top 5, like at the near of stage 1, but I got freight trained sadly. So yeah, overall, a really great day for Red Ridge and Screaming Luigi Racing this week.
Well, of course, we head to Rockingham. You raced there last season in the Grand National Series. When the Cup Series technically didn't race there, but it was for the All Star race. So they make their first start there. For, most importantly, Grand National to come out of a second place finish. We go to Rockingham in 2 weeks after the off week for Daytona Speed Weeks. And what can we expect to see out of your race car there?
I don't know. I'll see. Whatever we can do. Like I said last week, we'll make the best of what we can.
All right, Zane. Well, of course, nice job. A top 10 finish here in the Cup Series. Very, very, very impressive for you guys. And we will see you next week from Rockingham, North Carolina.
Thank you. Go to freeway.com.
Wow. Payson Lindsay. Payson, what do you have to say about that?
What did he say?
He said go to freeway.com.
Go to freeway.com. Go to Coca-Cola Store.com, Jockey.com. Actually, not Jockey.com anymore.
Wow.
GameBridge.com, MotoCasino.com. Or sorry, it's MotoCasino.us.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
that's
can't
enough.
think of any more.
Yeah, that's enough. Nice try. Coming up next is going to be, I believe, Andrew Stacy. Was running in the top 10. Well, he finished 8th here. Andrew Stacy, you guys fell back a couple of spots there at the end, but ultimately still a top 10 finish in P8. So it was much needed after maybe not the greatest finishes outside the top 10 the last couple of weeks. So ultimately, how did you think your race car got better there in the second half after maybe running outside of the top 10 for most of it, but then in the second half, all of a sudden you guys came on very, very strong here.
So, yeah, after that halfway break when I got P6, I'm like, oh yeah, this thing's fast. And then, put some new tires on them, and I did it again. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hold P6. And then I get, we had a great battle for P6. There was, between me, Axel Smith, John Butler, Ashton Miller, and Zane Grauman. There were some great battles for the last 2 to 3 laps. It's good. Also, I have only finished outside of the top 10 twice. One's at Daytona, so it doesn't count. But yeah, just Payson Lindsay just controlled my car for the last lap, and I just lost 2 spots. So it's just unfortunate.
Unbelievable.
What? Wow. Okay. Anyways, we go to Rockingham after this. As I'm currently messing up the stage on the Simmers. But anyways, we go to Rockingham after this. What do you guys think you could do there?
I think I could probably wreck. That's about it. I mean, like, I mean, like, being realistic, I would maybe say top 15. I don't know. I'm not really confident with Rockingham. I raced it in a truck, and then that was pretty fun. But that was about it. No experience with the track. Thankfully, we're doing the old layout because it's better. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, Andrew. Well, nice job. Still salvaging a top 10 finish here, and we will see you next week or 2 weeks from Rockingham, North Carolina.
Yep.
That was Andrew Stacy. One more to go here. Connor Havrilla. Connor Havrilla, you guys had a okay day, and maybe not the greatest after coming off back-to-back top 10 finishes. You guys will finish in 16th here. Ultimately, how do you think the handling was on your race car all day, and then what do you think about your 16th place finish tonight?
Yeah, our qualifying wasn't the greatest. I think we started around 15th or something, and had to work our way up. And we slowly did stay the 11th for a while. Car felt fast. Then you got a bunch of cautions. People pitted. We got ourselves up to the top 5 there for a minute, and I thought I was gonna get stage points for the first time this season, and I didn't know we were 3 in contact, but car felt fast once we got, out of the traffic and got some space. Unfortunate end, though. I thought we could have a better finish than that, but we'll go on to next week. Hopefully, have a better finish.
So, of course, Rockingham is up next. You guys now moved up to 25th in points, I believe, after this race. You guys, of course, it was not a great start at all of the season for you guys. 2 top 10 finishes after this, and now a 16th place finish today. but still 53 points back on the chase cut line with 11 races to go before the chase begins. Is there anything you guys think you can do to maybe like manage that gap a little bit and get closer?
I don't think from a driving point, I think we've just been super unlucky these first few races, and if we can just keep it clean and keep out of trouble, I think we've had fast cars, just kind of involved in everybody else's messes. If we can keep out, I think we'll have maybe a chance if we can just keep it clean.
Alrighty, Connor, well, nice job finishing here. Still 16th, but we will see you after the break in Rockingham.
Yep, thank you.
That was Connor Haverla. All right, guys. Well, ultimately, pretty fun night and pretty, I would say, besides the couple of cautions that were mixed together with each other, pretty clean race all around. And talking about like maybe what we've seen some other races this season, like at Richmond, and pretty clean race for Phoenix. This race is usually horrific, especially back in season 3. So it's nice to see this sort of thing at Phoenix Raceway. Definitely was much needed. Season 3 was the worst race we've ever had at Phoenix Raceway. This was pretty good, I would say. So, anyways, Landon, Payson, any final thoughts here from Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, I think this was actually a lot cleaner than everyone expected. Had a couple green flag runs, had some comers and goers, and hope to see this track on the schedule next season because that was a really, really good race. Seems like people were able to maneuver around really well, too.
Yeah, of course. Ultimately, a very fun night around Phoenix Raceway. Well, of course, unfortunately, next week we have to take off due to real NASCAR speed weeks and Daytona 500 qualifying on Wednesday and the duels on Thursday, and both around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So we really can't compete with that. We kind of saw what would happen at the Clash. It was kind of a bit of a mess. Well, we can compete with it, but it's just not going to be as good. So we're just going to ultimately take the week off for that. So, of course, we'll be back at Rockingham for the Grand National Series on, well, the iCar on Tuesday, the Grand National on Wednesday, and the Cup Series on Thursday. But don't forget, I should say, we have NASCAR iRacing FedEx lobbies tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We start off, of course, at Iowa Speedway with the ARCA cars. Then we go to Daytona International Speedway with the Gen 6 cars. And then we have some updates with the next gens. We're going to be taking them to Michigan for the main event. So that will be tomorrow night, Friday night lobbies, NASCAR Racing FedEx lobbies, starting at 9:30, I should say, p.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, that'll just about do it here from Phoenix Raceway. Pretty fun week all around in Phoenix. And Matthew White gets his second win of the season from Avondale, Arizona at Phoenix Raceway. So yeah, that'll just about do it tonight. There will be an iCar race next week, by the way, at Talladega on Tuesday, and there may be a special announcement coming for that one. You'll just have to wait and see. So, on behalf of all officials, team winners, commentators, drivers, everyone involved in making this league what it is, good race in Phoenix. Congratulations to Matthew White. We will see you in NASCAR Racing FedEx lobbies tomorrow. But, of course, for the official action, we will see you in 2 weeks from Rockingham Speedway. Good night from Phoenix Raceway. We'll see you tomorrow for lobbies and then from Rockingham.